Alright, so I want to tell y'all my story. And this story has a lot of good stuff in it, a lot of stuff that you can use and take away. This is for the guy who's addicted, lost, and needs purpose, needs clarity. This is for my younger self who was super lost and addicted and all this bullshit. And you're going to be shocked about some of the stuff I tell y'all. But if anybody can learn from my story, then by all means, let's do it. I want y'all to take good information from this channel, and it also helps me grow as I speak this out, because I've never shared this with anybody before. This is all my first time kind of sharing this with people and going this far in depth. But it's not gonna be, I don't know how long this is gonna be. I'm not gonna force it to be super long or super short. I just want it to flow. I want it to be natural. This is not scripted. I have a couple notes here that I want to go through, and I want to make this video post before the night ends, because I'm posting one YouTube video a day, as y'all know, and I'm not giving up on that challenge. This is the old me. This is not the current me. This is not the current version of me. What I have written down is my past decisions, my past actions. I have no regrets. I have no shame. These are events that took place, and I'm not super proud of them, but they made this man who I am now, who y'all see now. And I'm making this video outside of the gym parking lot, or one of my gym parking lots. I may go in after and do some stretching, but hey guys, let's focus on this for now. I'm gonna take y'all back to the beginning. I was born in 2002, and born in Dallas, Texas, DFW. We're still here at this moment, still living in my pop's house. I have a two-parent background, super comfortable growing up. I never went hungry, lights never turned off. I started soccer at a super young age. I was always into sports. I found porn content at age of 12. I started smoking weed at age of 16. My dad, he had like this Playboy Bunny magazine, and I found that when I was super young. I mean, it wasn't hard to find, it was just out. And then my friends, when I was like 12 years old, they were like, hey, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Ha, ha, ha. And they just showed me like this pornography website and everything. And, we laughed about it, but, my 12-year-old brain was like so addicted to that so quick, because it feels so good. The dopamine hit you get from that is so good. Your brain doesn't know the difference between, real sex and fake sex. But even though, I'll tell you, like, porn and real sex, they are not the same at all. Not the same at all, okay? So if you're a young man watching this, stay away from that shit, bro. Stay away from that shit. But I found it at age 12. I didn't know any better. Started weed at age of 16, and by 16 I was addicted, bro. I was addicted to dopamine, weed, porn, drinking, nicotine. I remember even drinking lean sometimes. I took Xanax sometimes. I took shrooms and acid. Bro, I was doing all the drugs, and by the age of 16, I was just so fucking addicted, bro. Like, a 16-year-old should not be on any of that. He should be focused on going to junior high, going to high school, living his life, being, focused, not falling off this path. And I don't even know how I got on the path of all of this stuff. I remember my friends, of course it starts with friends, and that kind of influence you is probably the greatest influence you have. So, you are who you're surrounded with, and I was surrounded with people who are also doing this stuff as well. And so, age of 16, I was doing all of it. I was heavily chasing girls as well, having casual hookups and going to parties. I definitely was not the best kid. I remember running away from home multiple times throughout my childhood, but specifically once when I was like 16, 17, I almost had the cops called on me by my parents because I stole their car, and I left for a couple days, and I just went to live in a friend's house. And of course I partied, got drunk over that trip, over that period. My friends, they all came over and kind of snuck in, bro. They scared me one night. They didn't even tell me they were coming. They just fucking came and scared the bejesus out of me. It was like, bro, we're getting fucked up. I was like, okay. We got super messed up that night, smoking and drinking everything. And sure enough, we wake up tomorrow morning. I remember being so down and out, bro. So down and out, though. Like, they came over, and yeah, we all had fun and we all twisted, but I remember just sitting on that couch being like, bro, what the fuck is going on, bro? Like, how am I feeling this way right now? Why am I feeling this way? What happened? Like, what is going on? I had to go to school the next day, and I was just going through it, bro. I was just going through it. Such a rebellious kid. I was going through an identity crisis. My iPhone storage just got full, so I had to, I'll cut it real quick, but back to the story. I was like, how am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling this way? I'm definitely too young to be feeling this way. Anyways, next day I still go to church. I still go to school, and I still like pull up and keep attendance and everything. My counselor, my mom comes up there and tells the counselor what's going on, and I don't even know how they know I was at school, but they knew. I think one of my friends told them, and same guy. Okay, whatever. One of my friends told them, and they went in there and took the car back, had an extra key. Basically, forced me to go home. I remember my boys, they kind of like locked me down and was like, bro, you're going home. Like, this isn't acceptable. And I was trying to hide it so much, bro. I was trying to hide it so much. And I remember telling my friend, we made a thing like to escape to Mexico, bro. We literally was like, bro, we're gonna escape to Mexico. We're gonna, get burner phones and all this shit. It's so stupid, bro. So stupid. Anyways, I was being a dumbass, bro. I was dying and dashing. I was starting fights. I remember like one of these kickbacks, just causing trouble, bro. Causing a lot of trouble, and asking for it. Just asking for it. And I found it. I found it. If you search for something, you're likely to find it. If you're a very negative person, if you think the world is negative, it's gonna be negative towards you, bro. If you think it's positive, it's gonna be positive for you. The world is a mirror, not a window. So, one girl I truly liked in this period, but I was so lustful and addicted to like all my vices. She asked me to choose her or the substances, and I was like, I choose the substances. And she left me, of course. She left me, even though she liked me, but she was a solid girl, bro. She was a solid girl, and she knew better, and I probably would have left myself too. And so, I was listening to rap songs and all this good stuff, and I was thinking like, I had these substances before she came around. How dare she? It's stupid, bro. She just wanted to see me do good, bro. She was a genuine girl, and I fucked that one up big, right? Messed that one up. So, I was also like just a weak kid, bro. I was just a weak kid in general. I played sports. I was in soccer all through high school. I played varsity my senior year. I ran varsity cross country, but I was still weak. I was athletic as fuck, but I was weak mentally and spiritually and emotionally. And of course she left me, bro. So when I ran away from home, I still attended high school. Blah, 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 blah. I was very good at hiding it. Blah, 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 blah. And I was running away from my problems. I wasn't facing them. Okay. Parents called the cops. Well, threatened to call the cops. When I got back, my dad and I almost got in a fist fight. Blah, 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 blah. One girl, during this period, I took out and smoked her out. And, it was just like a one-night stand again, following lust, following, just stupid stuff. Just dumb stuff. Just doing dumb stuff. And I remember that girl, like, she was okay, but, it was just very, very, very lustful, super into the flesh and into those patterns, not involving the spirit a lot at all. When I was 15, so before a lot of this started, I totaled my parents' car. It was a Toyota Solara, super dope car. It was a drop top. I remember it was New Year's Eve, and I was about to turn 16 and get my license, a couple of months out. My birthday, February. And so we were driving, and my parents trusted me to take the car and with my friends and just drive around the neighborhood. We were just picking something up. We had two cars, a car full of guys and girls, and bro, sure enough, my testosterone through the roof. We were driving in my neighborhood, and we started speeding up, racing, bro, with the drop top and all my friends. Even to this day, I remember crashing, and to this day, my friend, who I'm not gonna say his name, but he's like, bro, I'm never getting in a car with you again, ever again. and he still hasn't. And he always recalls that one night. I almost killed my friends off of that stupid, egotistical, little boyish move. And so, yeah, I totaled the car. I had to tell my parents the next day. And that was super, like, that's how it kind of started. I lost my parents' trust there big time. And then when I was 16 as well, 16 or 17, I had the plug come over, and it was one of my first times smoking. And so, maybe I was 15, 16. I think I was 15 turning 16. He came over, the plug came over, and we had like a stand-up hot tub in the back of the backyard. And on my parents' house, a couple of my boys, and we were literally smoking like 8 blunts in rotation. I bought 4, my plug matched me with 4, bro. We were just high out of our minds. So high in the hot tub, I puked all over the place, and that's like everybody got out. I was trying to keep up, bro. I remember taking the biggest rips, and that was being the most like geeked I've ever been in my life. And my parents woke up, saw the puke, and was like, "What happened?" I confessed. I was like, "Yeah, I smoked some weed and got really high," and they were super cool about it, bro. Surprisingly, super cool about it. Probably too cool about it. All right, what happened after that? What do I have written here? When I turned 16, had the plug come over, blah, 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 blah. I totaled my second car that I was given to me at 18, right after high school, Chevy Tahoe, on the way down to Austin with a homie. And he was driving his car, and I was driving mine. It was slick, rainy, 4-lane highway. I was in the left lane, and I hydroplaned across 4 lanes, bro. Oh my God, bro. Hydroplaned across 4 lanes, dude. That was awful. There was an 18-wheeler right next to me, and I remember just my life flashing before my eyes, losing control, the wheel hitting another car, and then hitting the median at like 60 miles an hour. I walked away without a scratch, bro. The car was like, I couldn't open the door. It was stuck on the median facing the wrong way of the highway. And the other car, of course, like in front of me, and I look up, I just like, okay, we're alive. All right, adrenaline through the roof. I had like my bong and stuff in my bag and my guitar. I jump out of the window and on the other side, and bro, fuck, dude. I had a cop come over and take me off the highway. I called my boy, told me to come pick me up after where the cop dropped me off. The cop gave me a ticket. He said for reckless driving. I wasn't reckless driving, bro. I just hit a slick spot and I was making a turn. I wasn't even speeding, bro. I was going fucking flow of traffic, and at Paraphernalia, I was just praying that the cop didn't like check my bag or anything. And sure enough, bro, I told my parents like a day later, and they were pissed. They were like, "I'm coming down to get you right now." And bro, still haven't heard the last of that one, bro. Still haven't heard the last of that one. It was terrible. That was awful. What happened then? So in high school, junior year, before that crash and everything, I got into entrepreneurship, and I remember making friends in business and real estate. I had a lawn business, I was day trading, and I was trying to get in real estate. And bro, I knew I wasn't gonna go to college. I took AVID courses throughout the entirety of my schooling, like for the 7 years, advanced via individual determination. Basically a college course, and it preps you for college. That's it. And I was prepared to go to college. I really was. They make you sign for college grants and everything. My parents didn't have like a fund for me, and I thought I was gonna go to college. I had big dreams, bro, from a kiddo, like junior high. I was like, I'm going to Rice University. I'm gonna be a sports physician or a veterinarian or something like that. And sure enough, bro, like I don't end up going to college after getting into business. I had a lawn business. I remember skipping soccer practice to go mow lawns at one point in my junior year. Noises in the background. Bunch of noises coming out of my car right now. It's an old car, bro. I crashed that Tahoe and I bought this Tahoe, bro. And this Tahoe cost me all my money. I spent like 5 bands, everything I had. My parents were like, "Oh my gosh, you can't believe you actually had that in your bank account," because they didn't know, bro. They just thought I was a broke hustler. I was a broke hustler. Still, I'm still hustling, but just at like a more clear level. And so got into entrepreneurship. I traded for like 4 years while I was dabbling in real estate, and I had a lawn business. And none of these businesses really worked out for me. I'll go more deeper in depth in other videos, but you know, is what it is. My dad like invested in my businesses multiple times and gave me like a runway, and I invested in my business a lot, and bro, it just wasn't working. My parents, a little background on them, this is not about them, but just to give you background on them, they kind of always had their problems. They got split up a couple years ago officially. Before that, like 5 years ago when I was like 15, they got their first like split up that I remember, and it just kind of got worse and worse and worse. And so yeah, that happened. And I remember before they officially got split up, like so much shit happened like back to back, and it was so weird why and how this stuff was adding up. My ACL got blown out. I don't have a crazy story, but it just gave up. I remember having a surgery my freshman year of high school, and so I guess it just added up throughout the years, and you know, it's just progressional. And then my mom, bro, she ran over my cat in the garage. Like what, where does that happen, bro? And I had to take my cat out, and like I shot my cat because he was suffering and he needed to not be suffering, and that really hurt me. He was a dope cat. And so yeah, that happened. My ACL basically broke my parents in half, and of course like the cat became a huge argument, and it was so bad. It got so bad, I'm like, please guys, just get this over with. And eventually, like, of course it got over with, you know, eventually a couple years from that now. Before all of that, you know, in 2021, before they got divorced, and after my crash, in that period, I was attending a bunch of personal development camps, and I kind of got entangled in it. You know, I still think, yeah, maybe it wasn't the best investment, but it was still a good investment. I should have invested in skill sets, not just a personal development camp that made me feel good. I should have actually invested in skill sets that would have bettered me and allowed me to make more money. But I attended a bunch of these camps, and you know, went to San Diego, met a bunch of people, went to Arizona, met some people. So California, Arizona, met some dope people, even had like a little fling in San Diego. And I wasn't the best guy still. I was still on like drugs and addicted and shit. And I remember we were chilling at a bonfire after like we had a great day. You know, we went out, and instead of actually pursuing her, I just went back in my room and fell back into my old patterns and vices, and just was like watching porn, bro. I was like, what the fuck, Aiden? Why aren't you pursuing this real life girl right in front of you who's digging you clearly, and you prefer to stay safe in your own little vices? So that was like a little like gut check for me. But she was a sweetheart, and she was pretty cool. But I think also I was very lustful. Like, I was not planning to like have an actual relationship with her. In my opinion, I was straight up fucking lustful, bro. I remember going to different real estate events as well throughout the years. I still had a lawn business and day trading. I tore down the lawn business and went all into trading, and picked up a job at a local gym after that. See, I got my real estate license while, you know, at the gym, and while I was trading. I never fully activated it until 2023, and I was still doing like both. I dabbled in both until summer 2024. You know, I lost a bunch of money trading, and I decided like I gotta change something. The foundation just wasn't there for trading. My pops always told me you have to have money to make money, and he was so right. He's never traded before. He's, you know, he makes 6 figures. He's a BC at a company, but a BC business consultant, if y'all don't know. But you know, I'm like, Pops, you don't know what you're talking about. You know, you're not a millionaire, and I want to be a millionaire. I knew I wanted to be a millionaire ever since I was like 17, 18. I wanted the nice stuff. I wanted maybe that social media programming or whatever, but I really do desire it because I know it's possible. We live in a fucking America, bro. There's so much money, and for me not to have any, it just fucking hurts, bro. It really does hurt. And so that's a big driver. My grandma, she still works at Home Depot, and I would just hate to have a life, you know, having to be like mid 70s and still have to work, you know, a Home Depot job, bro. And I told her and my mom, like, I'm gonna take care of y'all. I'm gonna retire y'all. Y'all won't have to worry. And I've been saying this for years upon years and haven't done what I said I'm gonna do. So it really just bugs me. Anyways, that's a big reason why I started online fitness coaching and all these other businesses too. So I knew something had to change. I turned on my real estate license again that summer and really just locked in on it, on real estate, cold calling every day and doing everything I can to find a deal. I even switched brokerages for, you know, when I couldn't find a deal on that one team for like 6 months. I was like, bro, this isn't working. Let me switch brokerages, got on another team. And then I joined a mentorship for real estate, thinking that would assist me. And I spent like 10 bands on this mentorship on credit. They had a credit program that I signed up for, got about 30K approved, spent 10K on the initial like buy-in, and it was with, you know, one of my boys that I trusted, that I met over the years, and I still trust him. He's still super cool, and we're still super cool and talk every now and then. But you know, that was the biggest investment I've ever made, the most amount of money I've ever spent. And over the last couple months, you know, I've been on a couple other trips that they held, real estate events. And at the most recent one, about last month, I met a bunch of people. It wasn't real estate based. It was honestly like more just entrepreneurship in general and business, and a bunch of young entrepreneurs crushing it. And I met some online fitness coaches in the space that were doing super well for themselves. And I also, you know, my boy, you know, who invited me into the group initially was like, bro, why don't you try online fitness coaching? You got the body for it, and you know, real estate's a long play. Fitness coaching, you can make bank pretty quickly, and you're clearly like knowledgeable about it. So, you know, I got to work that same night, and I was kind of sold. I came back on my brokerage, you know, on my brokerage team, and started doing deals and like trying to do deals in real estate, but deals were just falling through. My leads were not dialed in, and it was such a struggle, and I was burning out trying to build 2 businesses. So I decided to go all in on fitness coaching recently. And so yeah, that's why I'm even making this video for y'all now. So everything has a purpose. This year, a couple months ago, I dropped my vices, stopped smoking weed fully. I remember my boy, we had a call, and he was like, bro, you need to raise your standard. And I found, you know, multiple videos around, you know, weed. One of them being quitting weed will give you superpowers. And I think I was high watching it for the first time. But, you know, I needed to raise standard. I needed to drop my vices, and I wanted to get serious, especially because I made the big investment. And so yeah, bro, I finally took initiative and like was separated myself from the vices and started going to church, you know, on the weekends, and bringing God into my life and building more structure again and more discipline than I've ever had to build. Because I've been smoking for the last 7 years, in and out, like ever since I was 16, right? I was smoking, and I never really quit. You know, my grandma always was like, Aiden, can you please stop? And I was fucking no. My girl was always like, bro, can you please stop? And I was like, no. And bro, it's just like, everything just like, I say one thing, but your habits say another thing. That does not align, bro. It's not an alignment. And so I thought, for whatever reason, like, I'm the specialty. I can be that guy who can smoke weed and still make millions of dollars. I can be the guy who smoke weed and still get a ripped body, bro. I can be the guy. But that's pretty fucking cocky. And no, you can't. And if you can, imagine what you'd be able to do without the substance, because weed is, you know, you rely on it a lot. Let's see. What's next in the story? So a couple months ago, let's see, about 6 months ago, last year, you know, I was still very lustful, still, you know, watching that nasty shit, still trying to find my way, and still working through everything, still very addicted to these things, substances. And I remember chasing girls and getting validated from girls at my workplace. I'm still working at a steakhouse, and, you know, I asked out a few girls there, and bro, I had no business asking these girls out, bro. They were just not aligned with the man who I was becoming, and that was just stupid, very stupid of me, and I shouldn't have done that. And so there's just stuff upon stuff that kept happening. I kept falling into these old patterns. I had car troubles as I was investing into the real estate as well, which compounded the investment. I spent 10, I got approved for 30, and then the car troubles, I had a new engine because the oil was low and I didn't change it in time. I had to replace the catalytic converters because they got bad, apparently, like bad toxins got in it. And then I had to replace the whole front end alignment. So like things just happened over the last couple months with the car, and I spent, you know, a good amount of money on that, and then just plus other stuff with the trips and everything, bro. That 30K spent like that, bro. It was so quick. So I'm pretty much neck deep in debt, more than I realized that I would be, but I am, and everything happens for a reason. You know, there's people out there with 100K student loan debts, and this debt was invested in business and coaches and mentorships and my car and everything else and my mindset. So, you know, not blown on stupid shit. You know, I have faith in myself to make it back. And so, you know me. You know me. We're very driven. We're gonna get it. Anyway, so after all this, what's next, bro? What's next? I want to tell y'all, you know, so I basically brought y'all through the peak, you know, of everything, but just to kind of put everything, wrapping it all up, like over the years. So we started off 12, 16, super addicted by 16, and then 18 came, you know, running away from home, doing a bunch of idiotic shit, drinking, driving, dine and dash, just fights, like stupid shit, bro, asking for trouble. And then, you know, got into business and everything, but still had the vices. So now we're kind of fast forwarding to today. I made the investment into a big investment into my real estate business and the career and coaches. And then as I'm taking these investments seriously, I'm dropping my vices and getting right with God. I'm turning the page. I start going to these trips, and I'm finally sober going to a trip. I've never been sober going to a trip before, and I remember being tested at one of these trips, at one of these events, the last one I'm talking about, like last month. There was an Airbnb, I was staying with some friends, and they partied hard, bro. They partied fucking hard. But that last night, like, I had the option of drinking. There was girls there. I had the option of indulging and doing some hedonistic activities, but that was like the old me, bro. A part of me really wanted to engage because everybody around me was, and I was like, bro, why not? But, you know, I was just like, dude, don't fall backwards. Don't fall backwards. You're here for growth. You're here for growth. Don't fall backwards. Don't fall backwards. And I held out, you know. I just went to bed early and did the stuff. Didn't fall backwards. Haven't fallen backwards yet. You know, haven't done any of the bad vices or habits. Let's see. So that happened. I just remember, I've had so many times in this journal where I'm just so disgusted with myself, and I'm like, really, dude? Like, what the fuck were you doing? Why did you do this stuff? As I look back on all this combined pushed me to seek God, especially once I started breaking the weed habit, and I broke down in tears at work and in the mornings and in my car. A couple months go by and I attend another real estate event, then another, and another. So I just told y'all about those. I started my fitness coaching business after that last event. I told y'all, I think I told you that. It resonated with me. I was burnt out from all the cold calling and rejection in real estate. Plus, fitness is a passion of mine, and I'm naturally athletic. I've been coached my entire life, and I'm seeing other coaches in person that made me realize how possible it was for me. So I paused real estate completely, and I'm pursuing full-time coaching online. And I know I can build this while working a job, as I'm still at the steakhouse. And to a point where it's not only like 10K a month, which would be life-changing money for me, but 25, 50K a month, or even beyond that is possible. Then also adding back in day trading as a sword to my empire, because I already know so much, and I want to go back to day trading, bro. I really do. Day trading is a cash printing machine. There's no fulfillment. It's there. You know, like coaching, like once somebody buys in my coaching, that's real impact. I want to fulfill on that impact, but it takes time. There's a transition period, and yes, I get paid that same day, but like a transformation doesn't happen in a day. It happens over time. Like once the person puts in the work and enough reps in the gym, they're gonna get their body. Like, you know, you put the inputs in, you get the outputs out. But with trading, you put an input in the morning and you make, you know, 5, 10K with the right system, or beyond that. You know, no fulfillment, no anything. But again, you know, trading is more over time. It feels quicker, but in reality, like, you don't really want to look at your profits in that sense. You kind of want to step away and you know, not really judge your profits until the end of the year, really. Of course, monthly is probably smartest, but you really want to be as disconnected from the profits as possible. So yeah, I don't want to do that until I build this foundation in the coaching business though, and I want to keep going. I am going to keep going. I will be a future millionaire. I'm telling you that now. I've told my family this for the last 4 years, and I refuse to quit after all these failed businesses, everything I'm going through. I just keep going deeper and deeper. I invested into myself heavily, 30K heavily. My job could not support that payment. I must find a way, and online fitness coaching just aligns with me beautifully, and I think I'm just gonna go ham in it, bro. I'm just gonna go ham. Let me get a little taste. I'm gonna keep reinvesting. I'm gonna keep getting better. I'm gonna keep evolving. I refuse to go backwards, bro. Why would I want to go backwards into all of that bullshit? That kid is not the same man that you're looking at now. He's not. I've changed a lot. I remember everything, but at the same time, it's all blurred. If that sounds anything like you boys, if you're looking for clarity, if you're addicted, if you're lost, if you're on a mission, no matter what, your growth, if that's what you're focused on, give me a follow, subscribe. We're on this journey together. We're gonna keep getting better together. I'm gonna keep posting. I'm gonna keep showing up. I refuse to back down, boys. I refuse. Now is the time. Now is the time. There is no better time than now. What are you waiting for? What am I waiting for? Nothing. Let's get it. I'll see you on the next video. I appreciate y'all tuning in. God bless you. Stay up, stay dangerous. See y'all then.